track versus battery power, this is very much a personal perspective. What really excites me about garden railway modelling? Well, for me, operation is the key factor. I just love running trains. For instance, the mine train running down from the copper mine to the exchange sidings. I run timetabled passenger trains. But probably the thing that excites me most about garden railway modelling is goods traffic. I love seeing a mixed goods train meandering its way through the undergrowth and stopping off at every station, dropping off a wagon or two here and picking up another wagon there. So, what I really do need is something that's going to be reliable. When I'm shunting at a station, I want a loco that's going to respond when I turn the control knob. Okay, we do have the occasional mishap. For example, a wagon may become derailed or there may be leaves on the line. But I need reliable and precise slow running. When I first started in the world of garden railway modelling, I wanted stuff that I could run straight away. I had a very busy job, so I needed something I could buy off the shelf and get running fairly quickly. So, it was great to begin with, watching a train wandering round the garden while I was doing the gardening or hanging out the washing or whatever. But after a while, I began to lose interest in just watching trains running round and round. So I started modifying the stock that I bought to make it look a bit more anglicised, a bit more UK based. And then I built another couple of stations and started this idea of running timetable passenger trains and goods trains. So that's when my needs changed. I didn't want a loco that would halt when it ran over a piece of point work. I wanted something that was going to be a bit more reliable. There was nothing more frustrating than shunting at a station yard and then finding the loco would stop and need to be dragged. And then it would go a bit further and then stop again. So I'd try again. Doesn't matter how clean I made the track, there was always going to be another part where the loco would stop again. It became very frustrating. You can probably hear that in my voice. Oh, you bugger! I was reaching the end of my tether. I'd spend an hour, sometimes 2 hours, scrubbing the track before every running session. And no matter how hard I tried, locos would still stop. Sometimes in places they'd never stopped before. I took to having a track rubber in my back pocket so that when locos did stop I could give the track yet another scrub at a prime location and see if that would improve matters. It rarely did. It would stop again at another point. So it was at this stage I started to experiment. I bought myself a little radio control transmitter on eBay. I think this one was about a tenner. And my first experiments were quite promising. So I explored it further, and just about the same time Deltang released their transmitters and radio receivers specifically designed for railway locomotives. Yes, this seemed to me to be the answer. So, within a very short space of time, I'd converted all my locos to radio control and battery power. I've now got, I think it's around about 15 of them, and things are so much better. As you've seen earlier, I can shunt at slow speed without the loco stopping and starting whenever it takes the fancy. And here we can see that loco we saw earlier on the same stretch of track, pulling out of the station slowly and under control without hesitating as it passes over the plastic frogs of the point work. So, for me, battery power and radio control has solved all the problems I was having previously. I mean, nothing's perfect. You've got to remember to recharge the locos from time to time, but that's never been a problem for me. Probably the greatest obstacle is finding somewhere to squeeze the batteries in. Here's my little Simplex, my IP Engineering Simplex Loco. I've managed to put 2 AA size batteries into that, and the radio control equipment, and a sound card, and a speaker. So nothing's impossible. Another great advantage is, here we can see it pulling all those wagons up a 1 in 40 slope, because I've not cleaned my track for 4 years, and so I don't get any slippage, the sort of slippage I used to get when the tracks were polished. So for me, it's a no-brainer. If anybody says to me, what would you prefer, track or battery power? Well, battery power wins every time.